Can you hear me? Yeah. No. Shame. It's a shame. Well, Darren said a lot about the preparations leading up to today, and obviously mentioning Wendy's contributions here. I mean, I did contribute as well. I did. I put my finger on the green string on some of those lace jars while she tied it, and that was it. So the whole plaudits have to go to my wife. And of course, this day would not have been so good without the weather. And leading up to today, it really was, in the immortal words of Alex Ferguson, squeaky bum time. I mean, every week leading up, as it was getting closer and closer, we were worried. And, Chloe didn't even want to talk about it. So thank you, the gods of the sky. But of course, I have to go back a lot further than what Darren's gone back there, because I'm twice his age. And I'd like to say, most of our most enduring memories are our first experiences, either what we do or who we see or something in that nature. And if I go way back, I remember when I was a very young boy and I was watching telly in the front room. And in them days, there were only 3 channels. And somehow I happened to come across a documentary. And this documentary, to a young boy, I was about 8 at the time, it was a horror film. But what it really was, it was explaining childbirth. My goodness, I was absolutely shocked. I'm not just saying that because, of course, Chloe's connections with midwifery, but that night, I remember as a young boy going to bed saying, "Thank you, God, thank you, God, thank you, God." I said it over and over again because I knew I wasn't going to have to do that. I knew that much. But little did I know at the time that I would be witnessing it. And I'm so glad I did. That goes on to another beautiful memory of when Chloe was born. But I would say, once surviving the hurricane of birth, the most beautiful part of that was when we was able to take Chloe home. And I never forget, it was as though it was yesterday. I was sitting upright in bed, I had my knees up towards me, and there was Chloe laying on my lap. I mean, the most wonderful bundle of love I'd ever seen. I mean, seriously, everyone here who's got children will know exactly what I mean. It's such a beautiful experience. And hardly a word, well, not a word, of course, she said a word, but hardly a murmur came from Chloe. She was but, of course, she held my little finger with her hand, and it was just so beautiful. She hardly said anything, and of course she made up for that. In time, she made up for it big time, and I'm so glad she did. And being one of the youngest children in her year, she always felt as though she had to sort of live up to her peers, and rightfully so. She's a mid-August baby, so she had to, stick up with all the other children who were either a lot bigger or mature. 1 year in a child's life is a lot, but her determination to succeed is very, very. Well, we can see everything about her, like Darren said. All the organisation here is because Chloe succeeds in everything she's determined to do. And it's just a wonderful thing. And as she was growing up, she tried so many different pursuits, sports. She tried swimming. She always tried to have the best technical abilities possible. It was and her sisters, taking them swimming was just fantastic. You'd think that she'd been an Olympic swimmer. And the same even with horse riding. Do you remember horse riding? There she was horse riding with the straightest back possible. You'd think she was preparing for the dressage at the equestrian events at badminton. It was phenomenal. I remember we were looking on thinking, this is like unbelievable. And, of course, the greatest thing that they were all good at was shopping. Now, shopping came naturally to my daughters, and I'm so glad they did. Now, I remember one time taking Chloe out, and we went to get the jelly sandals. Oh, my word. We searched high and low, far and wide, all over West London to look for these jelly sandals. And we had about 10 minutes left before the shops were going to close, and we found them. It was thrilling. Something that everyone else may find mundane and just an everyday thing. But when you do that with your daughter, it means everything, especially if you succeed. So it really was brilliant. I became a taxi driver. Everyone can see I'm a taxi driver. I became a taxi driver in the March of 2003, and Chloe was 12 and her sister's slightly younger. And it was quite amazing, really, because I would drop them off. If all you people know Central London, Oxford Street, it goes from Marble Arch to the middle of Oxford Circus to the far end of Tottenham Court Road. I would drop them off with their mother at 10 o'clock in the morning. I kid you not. Now, they had money. They had plenty of cash. Now, 3 or 4 hours later, they had only got halfway to the middle of Oxford Circus. This on a Saturday, it was amazing. I would say 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, I'd organise to meet them. They were all panting. They was all hot. They was all everything. Oh, Dad, you want? Dad, these are. So they would chuck all their bags into the taxi. I would give them the cash I just earned. Obviously, a fair exchange in their minds, and I didn't mind. And then they would carry. They would literally go on for 8 hours. They could go on for 8 hours, and it was just like phenomenal to be able to see, you know, the joy that they got from it, and each one of them will remember that fondly. And well, I've been talking so much. I only made rough notes here. But I knew something was going to change one day. And as everyone now knows, it was when Chloe was about 17. I think someone said in the house, oh, Chloe's got something special to tell you. So I thought, I wonder what that is. So anyway, we'd all sat around the dinner table. We finished the dinner table, and Chloe was just sitting sort of diagonally opposite me. And now I know what she told me. She must have been inwardly trembling like mad, but with nervous excitement. Then she said, Dad, I have a boyfriend. And she said to me, she told me his name was Darren. She told me where she knew him, how she met him. And I was thrilled for her. I thought, it's fantastic. Good luck to her. But then she said to me, he'll be coming round to take me out tonight. So I thought, oh, that's good. That's good. Now, leading up to tonight when Dan was going to be coming round must have been like an age for Chloe. She must have just felt, oh my God, the anticipation of what's Dad going to be like, what's Mum going to be like? Mum would be all right, no, Dad won't be right. We're pretty cool like that, so we would have welcomed Dan no matter what, because we trust Chloe's judgment. So eventually the doorbell went. Now, her sisters jumped out of their chairs like greyhounds out the traps. They shot. They absolutely, wow, they were gone. And they were hustling and bustling each other to get to the front door. So I thought to myself, well, I've got to go for this as well. I've got to go. So we opened up the front door, and there was Darren. Wow. I was immediately impressed with him. He'd put on his finest clothes. He was cuddling, if not clutching, holding a bouquet of flowers, like he had a baby in his arms. He was wearing the best clothes, but the thing I remember the most, as well as that, was what else he was wearing. Do you remember what else you were wearing? You don't know. He had the biggest, widest smile I had ever seen. His pearly whites were sparkling. It was unbelievable. And he was a lot more slight of a man than what he is now. Because he was still a growing young lad. But there he was with the biggest, widest smile. It was just phenomenal. And, where was I? Yeah. And, train of thought. Oh, yeah. Sorry, I digressed a little bit. I kind of lost my train. I could see Darren in front of me. But, yeah. Wait. I weren't too sure that's it. I weren't too sure what it was that ignited their love for each other instantly from very early on. I mean, obviously there must have been something that one of them said to the other, because they had told me, both of them had said in their early years at St Mark's they weren't completely enamoured with each other. So something along the line had done that. I mean, I don't know if it was something like when I met their mum, Wendy, when we met, it was towards the latter part of the year. And she said to me, you know, my left leg stands for Christmas. My right leg stands for New Year's. Come up and see me in the middle sometime. Well, maybe memories embellish something, but I know it was happy days. With Chloe and Darren, it just seemed within no amount of time that they were a recognised couple. And this day has been their destiny for forever, really. It's no surprise at all. And the reasons why Chloe has succeeded as a midwife is for all of us to see, because she's so determined. But I remember when I found that Darren wanted to be a policeman, I thought, hold up, he's too kind, he's too gentle to be a policeman. How can he be a policeman? But I hadn't taken into account his professionalism and equally his ability to separate that with his own personal life. Now, we all know the difficulties in doing that, but that's what makes Darren such a great man, because he don't go out on the drink or something like that when it goes wrong. I know that he'd be confiding with Chloe, equally the other way around, and that's why their partnership is just made. And may I say on that as well, do you know, I believe that when you meet two people who are deeply, deeply in love, then their individual souls begin to merge into one. And that's why when one of them dies many, many, many years later, they're heartbroken because they're bereft. I know that's a little bit of an emotional point, but it's true, because we can all see it. We all know couples that are like that. And as the table over there shows everyone as well, my dad was a wonderful man to me. He was equally a wonderful man to Chloe. He would say things all the time. One of the things he would always say is getting serious. Yeah. He would always say that, or Wendy's dad Pops, he would say, "Oh heck." Like they both knew that their destiny was together. Even shortly before my dad died, he would even say to Chloe, "When you getting married, Chloe? When you getting married, Chloe?" I mean, bless him, if only he could have been here. But you know, we had a wonderful life with my dad, and I really want to impress. I can't impress so much, as none of you would have known him, of course, apart from my own family. Now, I suppose the next step is for you to have grandchildren. Oh, for us to have grandchildren, not you. No. I really hope that you're lucky enough. And I'm looking forward to the day when you give them to us and then we can return them to you. It's that relationship, okay? It's take and return. But I wish you all the good fortune, and I hope that you get all the luck you both deserve in the days, weeks, months and years ahead. And you know we'll always be there for you. And equally, like you're there for us. It's a two-way street within families. And sometimes the parent sometimes the parent needs the child, and it's wonderful. And may I say, in this modern age of gender equality, I think it's only fair that we do have one of the female members of our family who would like to say a few words. And thankfully, beautiful Bronte, which I always call beautiful Bronte. I have names for everyone. Gorgeous Greta and wonderful Chloe. I mean, we do them sort of things within families, and Bronte is going to say a few words. But can I, just before, I know I'm going on, but can I just say congratulations, Chloe and Darren. And can I raise a drink to you as well? I should say Chloe and Darren Baptista. Thank you for listening to me. Thank you.